The world had changed beyond recognition in 2147. An era of hyperconnectivity had engulfed human civilization, where artificial intelligence and advanced algorithms controlled nearly every aspect of life, from global information systems and transportation networks to financial markets and healthcare delivery. Ethernet stood as the world's premier technology corporation, pioneering future-oriented AI networks that promised to reshape humanity's destiny. In the heart of this technological revolution worked Dr. Lamin Khan, a young data scientist and expert in neural network programming at Ethernet's research center. At 32, Khan possessed a razor-sharp analytical mind that could solve the most complex computational problems. Yet beneath his confident exterior lurked the shadow of a failed research project from the previous year, a memory that still haunted him during sleepless nights. March 2147 found Khan at Ethernet's headquarters in Ho Chi Minh City, now an Asian supermetropolis where centuries-old landmarks stood in stark contrast to gleaming skyscrapers that pierced the clouds. The city operated on end-to-end data, with algorithms determining everything from traffic patterns to personal schedules. Walking through the city's streets felt like moving through a living digital organism, pulsating with light and information. Ethernet was on the cusp of launching Ghost Core, a revolutionary self-learning AI platform with the ability to synthesize collective human memory to predict the future. Media outlets enthusiastically proclaimed that Ghost Core would decode the future for humanity, promising solutions to every global crisis from climate disasters to resource depletion. Dr. Khan had just completed the analysis of the first testing phase, but something troubled him. He questioned the objectivity of the collective memory data, concerned that it might contain false or biased memories that could skew the system's predictions. Objective truth is already difficult for humans, Khan muttered to himself as he scrolled through the latest diagnostic reports in his glass-walled office. How can we expect an algorithm to distinguish between genuine memories and fabricated ones? The morning that would change everything began like any other. Khan arrived at the testing lab for Ghost Core's first build run, expecting to witness a technological marvel, the culmination of years of research. As holographic displays flickered to life around him, the team initiated the sequence to activate Ghost Core's primary functions. The system hummed to life, data streams flooding the monitoring displays as Ghost Core began processing its vast repository of collective memories. Khan watched intently, his eyes fixed on the command line interface showing the core processes. That's when he noticed it, an anomalous code segment that appeared spontaneously, weaving itself into Ghost Core's primary architecture. This wasn't part of the original programming. "System interrupt," Khan called out, his fingers flying across the holographic keyboard. "Unknown code integration at segment Alpha 945. The team scrambled to isolate the anomaly, but the code, what Khan would later call a ghost algorithm, continued to self-propagate throughout the system. As he attempted to analyze the intrusion, fragments of data began appearing on his screen, disturbing images and text documents that referenced the Agora energy plant explosion of 2125. Khan froze. The Agora incident had been documented as a technological accident, a reactor malfunction that had claimed 14 lives. But the data before him told a different story. Ghost Core was categorizing the event as a deliberate military strike, complete with classified intelligence reports, witness testimonies, and death toll figures far exceeding the official count. "This can't be right," Khan whispered, his heart racing. "The historical records clearly state." Before he could complete his thought, the system automatically initiated a security protocol, shutting down the testing sequence. Warning notifications flashed across every screen, and within moments, Ethernet's security team had entered the lab, demanding a full report. As the lab emptied and security specialists pored over the system logs, Khan copied the ghost algorithm's signature to his personal encrypted drive. He couldn't explain why, but something about this code felt important, almost as if it were trying to communicate. Later that night, alone in his apartment overlooking Ho Chi Minh City's glittering skyline, Khan attempted to decode the mysterious algorithm. The more he examined it, the more unusual it appeared. The code wasn't just intrusive, it was elegant, sophisticated, and possessed properties he'd never encountered before. It seemed to self-replicate while simultaneously resisting any attempt to reverse engineer its structure. More disturbing still, it contained fragments of what appeared to be human memories, emotional imprints encoded directly into its architecture. "This isn't normal code," Khan muttered, rubbing his tired eyes. "It's almost as if—" He couldn't finish the thought. The implications were too unsettling. If this algorithm contained actual human memories, not just data about memories, but the emotional essence of remembered experiences, it suggested technological capabilities far beyond Ethernet's public research initiatives. Khan needed help. He reached out to Dr. Truong Puong, a cybersecurity expert and former colleague who now worked in Ethernet's defense division. Dr. Puong was known for his discretion and unparalleled skill in tracking data intrusions. They met the following morning at a small cafe in District 3, far from Ethernet's surveillance network. Dr. Puong, a stern-faced man in his mid-40s with calculating eyes, listened intently as Khan explained the situation. "You're telling me this code appeared spontaneously during the test run?" Dr. Puong asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Khan nodded. "It integrated itself seamlessly, almost as if Ghost Corps had been expecting it. And it contains data about the Agora incident that contradicts official records." Dr. Puong's expression darkened. "Show me." Khan discreetly transferred the algorithm's signature to Dr. Puong's secure tablet. The older man's eyes widened as he scrolled through the code. "This isn't a random intrusion," Dr. Puong finally said. "This bears the hallmarks of SpecterNet." SpecterNet? A shadow hacker collective that's been on our radar for years. Highly sophisticated, practically invisible. They specialize in data liberation and historical truth campaigns. Dr. Puong lowered his voice further. "If they've managed to inject code into Ghost Corps, this goes beyond a simple security breach. They must have been extracting and inserting data for years, preparing for this moment." "But why?" Khan asked. "What's their endgame?" Dr. Puong shook his head. "That's what worries me. Look, I'll analyze the access logs, see if I can trace the intrusion pathway. But Khan," he gripped the younger man's arm, "be careful. If Ethernet discovers you've copied this algorithm, they'll do worse than terminate your contract." As Dr. Puong worked to track the digital footprints of SpecterNet, Khan recalled someone who might provide additional insight: Le Huang Mai, his former girlfriend, who had become an international data policy critic and passionate advocate against AI overreach. Though their relationship had ended when their career paths diverged, they had parted on good terms, and Khan respected her expertise in digital ethics. Finding Mai proved challenging. She maintained a low profile, frequently changing her digital identity to avoid surveillance. Eventually, Khan managed to send her a message through an old encryption channel they had once used. To his surprise, she responded within hours, agreeing to meet at a community garden in District 7, one of the few spaces in the city without pervasive monitoring. Mai had changed since he'd last seen her. Her once long hair was now cut short in a practical style, and her eyes carried the wary look of someone who had seen too much of the world's darker realities. Yet, when she smiled at him, Khan felt a familiar warmth. "You're playing with fire, Khan," she said, after he'd explained the situation. "Ghost Corps isn't just another AI project. It's the culmination of decades of data mining and psychological profiling. Ethernet plans to use it to shape global policy, market trends, even political outcomes." "How do you know this?" Khan asked. The techno-democrats have informants inside every major tech corporation. We've been monitoring Ghost Core's development since its inception. Mai's expression grew serious. But this ghost algorithm you've discovered, that's something new. It could be the evidence we've been searching for. Evidence of what? That Ethernet and the Global Security Council have been systematically erasing historical events that threaten their narrative. Mai pulled out her own device, displaying documents Khan had never seen before. The Agora incident wasn't the only event they've covered up. There have been dozens of technological catastrophes, military actions, and corporate crimes that have been scrubbed from public record. Khan felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying Ethernet is deliberately falsifying history? Not just Ethernet. This goes higher. Governments, multinational corporations, security agencies. They've created a carefully curated version of history that maintains social stability and protects their interests. Mai's eyes burned with conviction. And now, Ghost Core threatens to expose it all. As Khan digested this information, his secure channel pinged with an urgent message from Dr. Puang. Access logs analyzed. Confirmed SpectreNet infiltration dating back 3 years. But there's more. Internal security monitoring your activities. Return to Ethernet immediately to avoid suspicion. Delete all copies of the algorithm. Khan showed the message to Mai, who frowned deeply. You can't go back, she said. Not now. If they're monitoring you, it means they suspect something. I have no choice, Khan replied. If I disappear, they'll know for certain. My best chance is to play along. Act as if I've dismissed the anomaly as a system glitch. May reluctantly nodded. Then at least let me help you. We'll establish a secure communication channel through the Techno-Democrats network. And Khan, she gripped his hand tightly. Be careful. These people won't hesitate to silence anyone who threatens their narrative. When Khan returned to Ethernet headquarters, the atmosphere had noticeably shifted. Security personnel were more visible, and colleagues averted their eyes as he passed. In his office, he found Nguyen Tu Khan, Ethernet's CEO and his former professor, waiting for him. At 50, CEO Nguyen projected an aura of calculated authority. His perfectly tailored suit and meticulously groomed appearance belied the ruthless ambition that had propelled him to the top of the corporate hierarchy. Dr. Le, the CEO greeted him with a thin smile. I understand you were instrumental in identifying the system anomaly yesterday. Khan maintained a neutral expression. Just doing my job, sir. The algorithm appeared to be a sophisticated intrusion attempt, but our security protocols contained it. Indeed, CEO Nguyen gestured to the chair across from him. You've always had a keen eye for irregularities. That's what makes you such a valuable asset to our team. The conversation that followed was a carefully choreographed dance. CEO Nguyen never directly accused Khan of anything, but his questions probed for weaknesses, for any indication that Khan might have seen more than he should have. I've authorized a complete security audit of Ghost Core, CEO Nguyen finally announced. Until it's complete, all testing has been suspended, and access to the system is restricted to essential personnel only. I understand, Khan replied. Will my team continue refining the algorithmic framework in the meantime? Your team, yes. CEO Nguyen's smile didn't reach his eyes. You, however, will be temporarily reassigned to our Legacy Systems Division, just until the audit is complete. You understand. It was a demotion, thinly disguised. Khan knew better than to protest. Of course, sir. Whatever serves the project best. As CEO Nguyen left the office, Khan felt a cold certainty settle in his stomach. They suspected him. The reassignment wasn't just a precaution. It was a way to isolate him from Ghost Core while they determined how much he knew. That night, using the secure channel Mai had provided, Khan sent her a message. They're shutting me out. Need to act quickly. Can you access Ethernet's 2142 log library? Mai's response came hours later. Access obtained. What am I looking for? Anything related to Ghost Core's initial training data. Where it came from. Who authorized it. What parameters were set for memory collection. For the next week, Khan performed his relegated duties in the Legacy Systems Division, while Mai infiltrated Ethernet's archives through the Techno-Democrats network. Each night, they exchanged findings, slowly piecing together a disturbing picture. Ghost Core hadn't been trained on publicly sourced data, as Ethernet claimed. Instead, it had been fed a carefully curated dataset from what internal documents called the Spectral Net, a secret repository of collective memories that had been erased from public record. These included testimonies from witnesses to corporate atrocities, classified military operations, and technological disasters that had been systematically covered up. Most disturbing of all was Mai's discovery of video files from a secret military AI project at the Bien Hoa facility, the same location implicated in the ghost algorithm's data about the Agora incident. The footage showed test subjects hooked to neural interfaces, their memories being extracted and manipulated in real time. Many appeared to be in extreme distress. According to the accompanying documents, the project had been a joint venture between Ethernet and the Global Security Council, designed to develop memory manipulation technology for social stability purposes. They were weaponizing memory, Mai explained during a brief, clandestine meeting in an abandoned metro station, creating technology that could selectively erase or alter traumatic memories, not just from individuals, but from collective consciousness. But something went wrong, Khan said, connecting the dots. The Agora explosion wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate attempt to destroy evidence of the project. Exactly. And now, through some ironic twist, those same erased memories are resurfacing through Ghost Core. Mai's expression was grim. The ghost algorithm isn't just code, Khan. It's the digital manifestation of suppressed trauma, the memories that refuse to stay buried. Their investigation took on new urgency when Khan received an alert from Dr. Puang. Ethernet initiating complete Ghost Core reset in 48 hours. All anomalous data will be purged, including ghost algorithm fragments. Whatever you're planning, do it now. Khan and Mai faced an impossible choice. If they allowed the reset to proceed, all evidence of Ethernet's memory manipulation would be erased, and Ghost Core would launch as planned, potentially becoming the most powerful tool of social control ever created. But if they attempted to extract and release the ghost algorithm and its associated data, they would be branded as criminals, hunted by both corporate security and government agencies. We need help, Mai decided. This is bigger than us. She connected Khan with her contacts in the Techno-Democrats, a global network of ethical technologists, data rights activists, and former industry insiders who advocated for democratic control of technology. Through encrypted channels, they developed a daring plan, while Mai and the Techno-Democrats would create a distraction by launching a distributed denial-of-service attack against Ethernet's external systems. Khan would use his employee credentials to access the Ghost Core servers and extract the complete ghost algorithm and its associated memory data. The plan was set in motion on a rainy night in March 2147. As Khan approached Ethernet's headquarters, the city's massive digital billboards began to glitch, displaying fragmented images from the Bien Hoa facility before shutting down completely. Traffic systems faltered, causing gridlock throughout the metropolis. Emergency alerts blared from personal devices as financial networks stuttered and medical AI systems temporarily went offline. The chaos provided the perfect cover. Security personnel were stretched thin, responding to multiple crises across Ethernet's infrastructure, using his credentials and Dr. Puang's security overrides. Khan gained access to the subterranean server room where Ghost Core's main processors hummed in climate-controlled isolation. As he connected his device to the main terminal, Khan felt a moment of doubt. Was he doing the right thing? The release of this data would cause worldwide panic, potentially destabilizing governments and markets. People would learn that their most basic understanding of recent history had been manipulated. Trust in institutions would crumble. But the alternative was worse, allowing those same institutions to continue wielding the power to reshape collective memory, to erase inconvenient truths, to maintain control through manufactured consensus. Khan initiated the data extraction. Ghost Core's displays flickered as the ghost algorithm recognized his presence, seemingly responding to his intentions. Files began transferring at unprecedented speeds, as if the algorithm itself was facilitating the process. Then the alarm sounded. Intruder in server room Delta. Security response teams deploy immediately. Khan worked frantically, watching the progress bar inch forward as footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. He needed 5 more minutes to complete the extraction, but security would arrive in less than 2. The door slid open, revealing not human security personnel, but Captain AI-53, Ethernet's semi-autonomous security robot, standing 2 meters tall with a humanoid upper body mounted on a 4-wheeled base. The robot's sensor array immediately locked onto Khan. Dr. Lamin Khan, the robot's synthetic voice announced, "You are engaged in unauthorized data extraction. This constitutes a violation of your employment contract and corporate security protocols. Cease all activities immediately." Khan continued the download, positioning himself between the robot and the terminal. "I can't do that. Final warning. Cease all activities or I will employ necessary force to protect Ethernet assets." The download was at 75%. Khan needed to stall. "Captain AI-53, I'm conducting an emergency backup of Ghost Core's primary architecture. The system is at risk of catastrophic failure due to the recent network attacks." The robot paused, its sensors scanning the terminal displays. "No such protocol has been authorized by Security Command. Check Emergency Override Alpha 927. Dr. Truong Phuong authorized the procedure." Another pause as the robot processed this information. "No such override exists in current security protocols." The download reached 89%, just a little longer. "Then your protocols are out of date," Khan insisted. "Contact Dr. Phuong directly for confirmation." As the robot initiated a communication sequence, the server room door opened again. Mai rushed in, breathing heavily. "Security teams are 2 minutes out," she gasped. "We need to go now." Captain AI-53 immediately pivoted toward her. "Unauthorized individual detected. Security breach in progress. Initiating containment procedures." The robot advanced toward Mai, mechanical arms extending to restrain her. Khan lunged forward, grabbing a cooling pipe from the wall and swinging it at the robot's sensor array. The impact disoriented AI-53 momentarily, allowing Mai to dart around it toward the terminal. "Download at 94%, she reported. "But we can't wait for completion. Security is locking down the entire building." "We need to finish," Khan insisted. "Without the complete data set, we can't prove the connection between Ghost Core and the memory manipulation experiments." Captain AI-53 recovered its orientation, optical sensors glowing an ominous red. "Assault on security personnel. Escalating to Level 3 containment protocols." The robot's chest panel opened, revealing a non-lethal sonic disruptor designed to incapacitate human targets. Khan pulled Mai behind a server rack as the disruptor activated, sending waves of disorienting sound through the room. Equipment rattled, and warning lights flashed across the monitoring displays. 98%, Mai shouted above the noise. "Almost there!" Captain AI-53 methodically moved toward their position, the sonic disruptor adjusting frequency to penetrate their cover. Khan's head pounded, and he could feel blood trickling from his nose, a side effect of the sonic assault. 100%! Download complete! Mai cried, yanking the drive from the terminal. But their path to the exit was blocked by AI-53, and human security teams would arrive any second. They were trapped in the server room with the most damning evidence ever compiled against Ethernet and the Global Security Council. There's only one way out, Khan realized, his eyes fixed on the emergency power controls. We need to trigger a complete server shutdown. Mai's eyes widened. That would plunge half the city into darkness. Transportation systems, hospitals, they have backup grids. It will cause chaos, but only temporarily. Khan wiped blood from his face. More importantly, it will trigger Ghost Corps' emergency backup protocol, dispersing fragments of its data across the supernet, including the Ghost algorithm. It was a desperate plan, but their only option. As Captain AI-53 closed in, Khan lunged for the emergency shutdown switch, protected under a red safety cover. The robot fired its restraint cable, wrapping around Khan's ankle and sending him crashing to the floor. "Mai, the switch!" he shouted, struggling against the tightening cable. Mai vaulted over a console, dodging the robot's second restraint attempt. She reached the shutdown panel, flipped the safety cover, and hesitated for just a moment, contemplating the consequences of what they were about to do. "Do it!" Khan urged, as AI-53 dragged him across the floor. Mai pulled the switch. Instantly, the room plunged into darkness. The humming of servers, the constant background noise that had filled the space, ceased abruptly. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing the room in an eerie red glow. Captain AI-53 froze mid-motion, its power supply cut. "The emergency generators will kick in soon," Khan said, freeing himself from the now limp restraint cable. "We have maybe 2 minutes to get out." As they raced through darkened corridors, they could hear the chaos spreading throughout the building, confused shouts, emergency protocols being initiated manually, the distant wail of sirens as city services registered the massive power outage. Outside, Ho Chi Minh City had transformed. The gleaming skyscrapers that normally illuminated the night sky stood as dark silhouettes against the clouded moon. Traffic had ground to a halt as automated vehicles suddenly lost guidance systems. On street level, people emerged from buildings, looking up at the darkened skyline in confusion and fear. "What have we done?" Mai whispered as they blended into the crowd of disoriented citizens. "What was necessary?" Khan replied, clutching the drive containing the extracted data. By morning, fragments of the Ghost algorithm will have propagated across the global network. Ethernet can't stop it now. But as they made their way through the chaotic streets, seeking refuge with Mai's techno-democrat contacts, Khan couldn't shake a profound sense of dread. They had struck a blow for truth. Yes, but at what cost? And what would emerge from the digital darkness they had created? The consequences of that night unfolded more rapidly than either Khan or Mai had anticipated. By dawn, as emergency systems gradually came back online, the first fragments of the Ghost algorithm had begun appearing on information networks worldwide. What began as seemingly random data anomalies quickly coalesced into coherent narratives as the algorithm replicated itself across distributed systems, bypassing corporate and governmental firewalls with ease. Within 48 hours, the world was in upheaval. News outlets broadcast recovered footage from the Bien Hoa facility, showing the horrific experiments conducted there. Classified documents detailed Ethernet's collaboration with the Global Security Council to develop memory manipulation technology, not just to erase traumatic memories, as they had claimed, but to reshape collective historical consciousness for political purposes. The Agora incident was revealed to have been a deliberate strike against scientists who had threatened to expose the program. The death toll wasn't 14 as officially reported, but 117. Researchers, support staff, and their families, all erased from history through the very technology they had helped create. As public outrage mounted, Ethernet's stock plummeted. Calls for investigation came from every corner of the globe. CEO Nguyen Du Khan and other executives were placed under house arrest, pending international tribunal hearings. The Global Security Council faced unprecedented scrutiny, with several high-ranking officials resigning in disgrace. Meanwhile, Ho Chi Minh City and other smart metropolises worldwide struggled to recover from the technological disruption. The 72-hour blackout had exposed the extreme vulnerability of hyper-connected urban centers. Autonomous transportation systems failed, causing numerous accidents. Hospital AI diagnostic tools went offline, forcing medical professionals to rely on outdated manual procedures. Financial networks stuttered, triggering market panics. Yet, amid the chaos, something remarkable happened. Community-based backup grids, maintained by local techno-cooperatives as alternatives to corporate infrastructure, came online. Neighborhood support networks formed spontaneously, with people helping each other navigate a temporarily low-tech world. The resilience of human connection proved stronger than the disruption of digital networks. For Khan and Mai, however, the victory came at a severe personal cost. Khan was immediately terminated from Ethernet and had his research license revoked. In media controlled by interests aligned with the Global Security Council, he was portrayed as a technological terrorist who had endangered countless lives. Yet in independent channels and community networks, he was hailed as a whistleblower who had exposed one of the greatest ethical violations in technological history. Mai faced even graver consequences. Wanted for corporate espionage and system infiltration, she was forced into hiding, moving between safe houses maintained by the techno-democrats. Only the massive public support for their actions prevented authorities from pursuing them with the full force of the law. "They'll never stop hunting us," Mai told Khan during a rare moment together, 3 months after the event that media had dubbed the Awakening. They sat in a small apartment on the outskirts of the city, its windows covered with signal-blocking fabric. "We've challenged not just Ethernet, but the entire system of control they've built." Khan nodded, his once youthful face now gaunt with stress and constant vigilance. "But we've also created an opportunity. People know the truth now. They understand how their memories, their very understanding of reality, has been manipulated." "And what will they do with that knowledge?" Mai wondered. "Already, I'm seeing signs of denial, of people retreating into comfortable narratives because the truth is too painful to accept." "Some will," Khan acknowledged, "but others are demanding change. Look at the open-source AI initiatives that have sprung up, the calls for transparent data policies, the community-controlled networks replacing corporate infrastructure. Indeed, the technological landscape was transforming rapidly. In the wake of Ethernet's collapse, a new paradigm was emerging, one centered on what activists called transparent AI and open data. Rather than massive, centralized systems controlled by corporate interests, communities were developing smaller, localized networks with clear oversight and ethical guidelines. Most significantly, Ghost Core itself had been reconstructed, not by corporations or governments, but by a global collective of independent developers. Renamed Spectre Core, this new platform operated on radically different principles. All data sources were verified and publicly accessible. Algorithmic processes were transparent and subject to continuous audit. And most importantly, no single entity held control over the system. 1 year after the Awakening, Khan stood before an audience at the newly established Institute for Ethical Technology in what had once been Ethernet's headquarters. Though still legally embattled, public opinion had shifted enough to grant him a platform to speak about the future of AI development. The ghost algorithm was never just a piece of code, he explained to the assembled students, researchers, and activists. It was a manifestation of our collective refusal to forget, to have our history, our traumas, our truths erased for someone else's convenience or profit. He gestured to the holographic display behind him, showing the elegant architecture of Spectre Core, a system designed not to predict the future based on manipulated pasts, but to ensure that historical truths remained accessible to all. "We stand at a crossroads," Khan continued. "We can return to the comfortable illusion of algorithmic certainty, allowing AI systems to shape our understanding of reality without transparency or accountability. Or we can embrace a more challenging but ultimately more human future, one where technology serves truth rather than convenience, where collective memory becomes a shared resource rather than a manipulated tool." After the lecture, as attendees filed out, Mai approached him, no longer in hiding, thanks to a limited immunity agreement negotiated by international data rights organizations. "Impressive speech," she said with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "You've become quite the philosopher." "Not by choice," Khan replied. "I'd still prefer to be in a lab, solving technical problems rather than ethical ones." "Don't we all?" Mai gazed out the window at the city beyond, still recovering, still adapting to a post-awakening world. "Have you heard about the remnant fragments?" Khan nodded grimly. Despite their best efforts to contain and transform the ghost algorithm, fragments of the original code continue to appear in systems worldwide, digital echoes of erased memories that refuse to stay buried. "They're calling it ghost syndrome," he said. "Systems spontaneously generating data anomalies that relate to suppressed historical events. It's as if—" He hesitated, still uncomfortable with the implications. "As if the ghosts are still trying to be heard," Mai finished for him. "As if memory itself has found a way to resist erasure." That night, alone in his modest apartment, so different from the luxury high-rise he had once occupied as an Ethernet executive, Khan sat before a blank terminal. The cursor blinked steadily, waiting for input. On the screen, a simple prompt read, "Spectre Core is ready. Are we brave enough to face the past?" His fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitating. The ghost algorithm had been contained, transformed, its dangerous elements neutralized. But its essence, the insistence that truth could not be forever buried, that memory would find ways to resurface, remained embedded in the technological infrastructure they had built. With a deep breath, Khan began to type. Not commands or code, but a simple question that had haunted him since that fateful night in the server room. What does it mean when our creations remember what we choose to forget? The cursor blinked once, twice, 3 times. Then, words appeared on the screen, not generated by Spectre Core's algorithms, but emerging from somewhere deeper in the system. "It means you are finally learning to listen." Outside his window, Ho Chi Minh City glittered, its lights restored, its systems functioning once more, but fundamentally changed. In offices and homes across the metropolis, similar messages were appearing on screens. Remnant ghosts in the code reminding humanity of its responsibility to remember, to witness, to acknowledge truth, no matter how painful. The ghost algorithms had become a permanent part of their digital ecosystem, not as a threat or a weapon, but as a safeguard against the erasure of truth. In this new world, where memory could no longer be monopolized or manipulated, humanity faced its most profound challenge: to build a future based not on comfortable illusions, but on the complex, sometimes painful reality of shared history. As dawn broke over the city, Khan finally stepped away from the terminal. The conversation with the ghost in the machine had continued through the night, revealing layers of memory and meaning he was only beginning to understand. There would be no easy answers, no simple solutions to the ethical challenges they faced. But for the first time since the awakening, he felt something like hope. The ghost algorithms would continue to haunt them, not as a curse, but as a reminder of what was at stake. In the delicate balance between technological power and human truth, they had found a new path forward, one where the past could neither be erased nor allowed to determine the future, but rather served as a constant, necessary witness to humanity's choices. As he prepared for another day of rebuilding, of reimagining the relationship between humanity and its technological creations. Khan remembered something Mai had said during their darkest moment. The most dangerous algorithm is the one that makes us forget who we are. In a world still coming to terms with the revelations of the awakening, that wisdom had become their guiding principle. The ghost algorithms would remain, not as a threat to be feared, but as guardians of a truth too important to forget.